even know what to call this video, but you guys can tell what I went with through the title. But let me tell you, it's a very, very interesting one, and I don't even know where to begin with this one. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new, and if you are new, it would mean so much if you guys hit that subscribe button to join my YouTube family and click the bell to be notified every single time I upload, which is every single week. But today is a story time. It is another dating horror story, which, to be honest, you know those books that tell you like horror stories or like bedtime scary stories? I could do a whole book on just my horrendous dating stories. As you guys could tell by all the horrendous dating stories I have in my life, it's fun. I will link my playlist down below. This one is a major throwback, and I started like thinking about all these stories that I want to tell you guys, and I feel like I've always wanted to tell you guys stories, but I don't know, I just felt kind of shy to do it, to be honest. You know, YouTube can bring criticism, which is alright. Like, I'm used to this now. I think it's fun to just sit down and share stories with you, and like also I love reading your dating stories and reading all your different stories. I think it's nice to be able to like relate to each other. I know from just knowing even my best friends and friends that a lot of us went through crazy dating stories. I'm gonna talk about a story that happened to me years and years ago, but it's really creepy and sketchy, and I totally forgot about this until it popped into my head the other day, and I'm like, you know what, we need to talk about this because you gotta be careful about the people that you let into your life, and sometimes people are just very sketchy. Let me know by commenting down below your dating stories, and if you guys want any other stories, just let me know what you guys want me to talk about. I could totally do that for you. On that note, let's just jump right into the story. So this one happened a long time ago, so I'm going to try and remember everything that I can. Some of the little details I'm probably not going to remember, and a lot of the times when I finish these videos and I turn it off, I click to stop recording, is when everything comes back to me, or when I'm editing, I'm like, crap, I should have said this. I'm going to try my best to remember all the little details because this story was absolutely crazy. This is going to rewind all the way back to when I was 17 years old. So this is when I finished high school and I graduated high school. Right when I graduated high school, my best friend and I decided to sign up for a gym. So a lot of you guys know I go to LA, but this is not the LA gym. This is a totally different gym. I was really into sports in high school, and at that time all my sports were kind of ending. So I wanted to keep up with my fitness, so I was like, what not better than to sign up with the gym? And my best friend and I were honestly on a roll in that summer. I remember we went like almost every single day, and we were on such a health kick that we were there all the time at this gym. And it was the summer, like I said, when I was 17, so I was going to turn 18 in August, but at the time of meeting this sketchy person, I was 17 years old. I was at the gym when this guy came up to my best friend and I. We're gonna call him Adam. So Adam comes up to me and pretty much asks what my name is, and kind of does, you know, like the little small talk that everyone does when you're meeting someone. So pretty much Adam asked what my name was and how old I was, and I said I was 17 and I was going to be 18, and probably like a month at that point I was probably turning 18. And at this time Adam told my best friend and I that his name was Adam, like I said, and that he was anywhere between 20 to 22. I know he did not say he was older than 22. I can't remember specifically if it was 20, 21, or 22, but I know it was not higher than 22, that's for sure. So he ended up telling me that is how old he was, and he ended up asking for my number. I gave him my number. I thought he was a really cute, and I wasn't used to getting like attention like that from a guy. Didn't really go on dates and stuff, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I ended up giving my number, and we ended up like talking a little bit and kind of talking to each other on text and phone calls. He would call me on phones, and there was a lot of red flags, and definitely oh shoot. If anything changed, the FedEx guy just came, so I had to stop my recording, but we are back. So where was I? I remember telling you guys that I met Adam. He said his name, how old he was, all the little, you know, small talk. He also wasn't originally from Canada, which is where I'm from. I'm from Toronto. He had an accent, and I believe he said he was from, maybe I shouldn't say where he's from just to keep it private, but he said he was from a different country. Like originally he was born there, and he had a really thick accent. I would see him at my gym, like I said, all the time, and he was still going there at the time. This was still in the summertime, so before I entered my first year of university. He actually ended up calling me one day, and I was actually with my best friend that met him that day too, and he was kind of like, oh, where you at? I'm near your area, like if you want to hang out, I'm with my friend. I was like, oh, perfect, I'm with my friend. So we ended up just hanging out for literally like a little bit because we had to go home, my best friend and I, soon, you know, strict parent problems. It was only honestly for like 10 minutes. So he came to where we were at, and he arrived with like this extremely like expensive sports car. It was a convertible, and it was extremely nice, and I was like, whose car is this? And he ended up saying it was his car, and he was with his friend, and it was just like his friend seemed a little bit sketchy too. I didn't know what to think out of it, so we ended up just hanging out for a little bit, and then I went home. So at this point, it was pretty much the beginning of the first year of university, and I did turn 18 at this time, and I was starting my first year. I went to Ryerson University in downtown Toronto, and gotta love Ryerson. Honestly, so many crazy things happen. And I remember one time he ended up coming down to see me at my school, and I remember we were like hanging out on Dundas Square, which is, if you guys know Toronto, it's like the spot where everyone would hang out, and there's all this commotion happening on there. It's never dead on Dundas Square. And I remember we were hanging out, and we were like taking photos on my MacBook on that like photo booth thing that everyone used to do. And we were just kind of being silly and hanging out. And then he ended up taking me out to eat at this place called the Korean Barbecue restaurant. It's really cool actually. You cook your food, and the food was really good, and it was my first time going there at the time. So it was kind of like a good date. But after that time, I remember feeling kind of uncomfortable by him. So at this point I was busing and subwaying to my school, and so I ended up busing home. What ended up happening is he ended up busing home with me. It was really weird. Like he made this excuse about that car that he had. He said that he didn't have it anymore and he couldn't drive or something, and so he ended up just busing. And then ever since then, like he never could drive a car. I remember he would ride bicycles, or like just my friend even caught him one time on the bus when she was coming home from her school, and it was just really sketchy. Him as a person, he was acting just really weird. His stories were never adding up. He would always call me from like different phone numbers. He would say that he doesn't have that phone number anymore, and then he would call me on like a new phone and have a whole new phone, and that happened quite a few times. And I remembered after I was getting all these like weird things, my friend wasn't getting a good vibe from him either, and he actually at one point too, he bumped into my best friend and I on the bus when we were both coming home from Toronto, and he was with his friend, and one of his friends just were extremely sketchy. They didn't seem like very good people. They both jumped on the bus and they didn't pay, and there was not good behavior going on there, and I did not want to associate myself with that. So I ended up just like not talking to him anymore and cutting it off, and I just did not feel comfortable. I remember you saying really weird things. I wish I still had all that stuff, but obviously I don't because it's been so many years. But it just did not make me feel comfortable. And I remember at one point I was at my school, and I was actually with my best friend, thankfully, and he showed up at my school, and I remember seeing him, and he was kind of like looking around, and then my best friend and I like left and made sure he did not see us, and I felt so creeped out. And this is where the interesting part comes in, and where I basically find out a lot more about this Adam guy. So I thought, Adam? Yeah, there's no Adam. Basically what ended up happening is my best friend came through like they always do, and one day she was on her Facebook and she saw a photo that her sister posted. And her sister posted this photo because she went camping, and my best friend's sister is a lot older than us. And at this time, she was actually not living where we were living. She was living a few hours away because she was in law school. She ended up going camping, and it was her boyfriend, and a bunch of other girls in their like boyfriends, I guess. And in that photo, my best friend sees Adam, and he's in the photo with a girl, and she's like sitting on his lap, and they're all around like a campfire, and she ends up messaging her sister and saying, "How do you know Adam?" The first thing that her sister said is, "Who's Adam?" Yeah, basically Adam's name was not Adam, so we're gonna have to switch the name now and just call him, we're gonna call him Jack now. So Adam's real name is Jack, it's not Adam, and we ended up finding out that he was anywhere between the ages of 31 or 33 at that time. He was anywhere between 13 to 15 years older than I was at the time. Both of us were in shock and disgusted, and we kept asking more questions. So she didn't really know him that well. He was kind of just there because of the girl that brought him on the trip, and this girl, I guess, dated him a little bit on and off. I was just so grossed out that someone lied about their entire identity to me. Who knows what else he has been lying about, because already there's so many red flags. What really happened to his car, his license, all of that stuff, and his phones, like why were they constantly changing? Let me know if you guys have any theories down below. I have my own theories, but I will never fully know for sure. And what ended up happening is he ended up leaving our province. So I live in Ontario, so he left to a totally new province in Canada, pretty much cut off contact with everyone and just moved away. And then years later, he ended up coming back, I guess, to Toronto. And who do I see at my gym? Jack. I see Jack at my gym, and he is now a personal trainer at the gym. So he was working there as a trainer, and it was really weird because he was only working for a few months before he got fired. But what's really funny is in one of my videos, which I have over 700 videos I think up, so I really don't think anyone will figure this out. But one time I was at the gym with my best friend. She was helping me film a video for this channel. I was filming the video, and all of a sudden Jack comes in with this girl, and he's in the background of my video, and it's so uncomfortable. We both felt so weirded out, and he was pretending like he didn't know me, of course, and it was just the most awkward video to film. But I was not about to leave because I was dedicated to the content. So that is what I did, and he was in the background, so I find it so funny looking back. But he ended up working, like I said, as a personal trainer there. He got fired, and then he moved away to another province, and I have no idea where this guy is. I don't know. He's always on the run. Like, no one really knows who he is. No one really knows what he does. And right now, he's probably well in his late 30s or 40s. I don't really know. I don't know exactly what year his birthday is. But I found that so weird, and definitely little Nicoletta should have not been associating myself with such sketchy people. But to be honest, I was so young and I didn't really know. And this is why always listen to your parents, and this is why parents are strict, because you don't really know who you're surrounding yourself with. Thankfully, he wasn't in my life too long, and nothing really bad came out of it in the end, because I just cut him off, and I was in university after and never got to see him again, thankfully. Like I said, I only saw him years later as a personal trainer, but he was only there for a very short time before he was let go. So I don't really know what ended up happening with that situation either. I don't know if something went wrong or what ended up happening, but something definitely went wrong there, and I still don't know anything. It's like a mystery that was never solved, and it was really weird. I definitely think there could have been some criminal activity that was going on with this person. It just seems very sketchy, everything, and not right. So that is how I ended up catching that Adam/Jack is not who he says he is, and is a total sketchball. So if you guys like this story, thumbs it up. I know it was crazy and very weird. I remember thinking the exact same thing when I was going through it. I definitely feel like, you know, after saying all these stories out loud, a lot of people definitely lie and don't always tell the truth. I actually have a huge story about another person that I was seeing or going on a date with that totally ended up being not the person he was, and it is honestly crazy. So if you guys want to see that story, thumbs it up, share it with your friends, get these videos out there. It really helps me out. Leave your dating stories down below. I always love talking to you guys. You can always follow me on my Instagram at NicolettaXLYT and tell me all of your stories down there. And don't forget to click the subscribe button to join my YouTube family. I upload every single week. And on that note, I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!